Game Theory by Blair Colbert. What is game theory? Game theory is a stem or branch of mathematics that calculates how people make decisions. These decisions include both personal as well as the opponent's. It is analyzed to see how people will react during certain situations. These situations can include a variety of things, such as business meetings, politics, economics, games, interactions between animals, or even something as simple as a social interaction between humans. So how does it work? First, we define the players, including oneself. Second, we evaluate each play or move a player can make. And finally, we have the score, the result, or as some may say, the payoff. The history of game theory. In 1921, Emile Borel, a French mathematician, published multiple papers on game theory. He used how people bluff in poker and second-guessing the opponent's hidden information as an example that would later lead to economics and military tactics using the theory. Borel's idea on the theory did not progress much further than this, leading to John von Neumann taking the credit for game theory in 1928. History of game theory in 1928. John von Neumann founded game theory in 1928, several years after Borel brought attention to the original thought. Like Borel, Neumann's interest in the theory began with his love for the game of poker. He came to realize that poker was not led by probability theory alone. Neumann laid the foundation for game theory. The game theory in 1928 continued. Neumann proved the minimax theorem in 1928 while studying the game theorem. The minimax theorem is a strategy to minimize the maximum possible loss in a 0-2 player zero-sum game. This theorem was originally used in a two-person game, where both players knew all moves that had been made up to that point in the game. History of game theory in 1950. Originally, game theory was zero-sum games between two people. In 1950, John Nash claimed that the theory was that both participants, gains or loses, were equally balanced by the other participants' gains or losses. This later applied to a much wider range of behavioral relations. John Nash won the Economic Science Prize for his work with game theory. The Prisoner's Dilemma. The Prisoner's Dilemma is a prime example of game theory. This example is where two people are arrested for a crime and are interrogated separately. The outcomes would differ depending on if each of the prisoners decided to uphold with the other or betray them. Although the outcome would be better if they both upheld, this would typically lead to betrayal. Game theory types. There are multiple game theory types. One, being constant sum games. The total of all the players stays the same, even if each player has a different outcome. Another, which we'll see an example of here in a moment, is sequential games. Knowing what the other players have chosen, players decide in a certain order. Simultaneous games. Without knowing what the other players are choosing, all players make a decision at the same time. And zero-sum games. Regardless how the players strategize, the total is always zero. Sequences in Calculus 2. A mathematical example of game theory is sequences. This is covered in Chapter 10 in Calculus 2. A sequence is a set of numbers that follow a general rule. Sequence example. In the example to the left, we can see that we are finding the first four terms for a set formula by plugging in the a sub number. Thus, the projection is that it converges to 1. However, if the projection were not to converge to a whole number, we would say it diverges. Nash equilibrium. Nash equilibrium in game theory refers to a situation where no participant can better their outcome by changing their strategy. Real life example number 2. Analyzing the market. Businesses must analyze the market to know what is the best move for their company. For example, Amazon and eBay are two major businesses that compete with each other for customers. Therefore, they must think strategically and make the best decision based on what they think the other business will do to win the majority of the customers. Real life example number 3. Negotiation. People negotiate for many different reasons every day, whether that be in real estate, a child asking for a later bedtime, salary negotiations, or brokerages such as J.B. Hunt negotiating rates. Real life example number 3. Negotiation continued. The game, known as Chicken, is a famous game often seen in negotiations. This is where two parties take part in a negotiation. Both parties will be harmed if one party does not back down. The result typically ends in one party winning. This could cause conflict between the two parties. However, that is not always the case. Instead, this could lead to a business relationship where one party backs down, this time to help the other, and the other party backs down next time in return. Game theory recap. Game theory was founded in 1928 and is used daily, even if we do not realize it. This theory helps us by using strategical thinking to make decisions throughout life. Thank you.